Alright, this is a much different video on this topic because I'm not going to try to sell you a course or convince you why SaaS is the best option that you can ever do, but I'm just going to talk about my kind of thoughts now. I talked to a really interesting guy today who had a company doing $15 million in revenue. They raised like 30 million bucks and then they sold it, and now he's moved on from that previous SaaS and he's doing a high-level SaaS. And so, just to give you an idea of what kind of caliber of people are actually doing this, I'm going to explain why I've come to realize that GoHighLevel SaaS might actually be a really good idea. And so before we get into this, there are three different schools of thoughts basically when it comes to using HighLevel to make money. So the first one is kind of the first iteration of this whole thing, and it's SMMA, right? Social Media Marketing Agency. And this was basically running ads for your clients, and then those clients make phone calls or text the leads, and then they make money, right? All right, so that's supposed to be a money bag right there. And basically what happened was HighLevel started talking about SaaS and how it was going to be the greatest thing ever, and then we basically swing all the way over to this sector here, which is SaaS. And so this basically means that you build some kind of snapshot where you have your HighLevel account, and then you try to sell them to a bunch of different people, right? So you're going to have a group of, a bunch of different users, and you're going to try to get recurring revenue. And this made sense to a lot of people, especially because SaaS is such a big buzzword in the business community. SaaS is like the holy grail of business, and you get recurring revenue and you can sell for 20x, profit, whatever, and people were super stoked about it. But then came all of the kind of pessimists who were still in this first camp and said, well, here are the problems with SaaS. Okay, but first I wrote down why is SaaS popular, and so we're going to talk about some of the main points that SaaS is popular, or the main reasons. So the first one is actually your technical moat, and I do not know why it's going to the side like that, but basically we have a technical moat with most software products. And so this moat, it doesn't have to be technical. If you think about like Netflix, it might be sort of their selection and their branding, but in a lot of cases you have certain technology that's kind of proprietary to your business, and that means that if someone wants a certain problem solved in a specific way, they have to go to you. So if you think about HighLevel, they very much so have a technical moat because there's not a lot of CRMs out there that can have multiple sub-accounts managed by the main agency account. And so this is one of the main attractions of SaaS. And what that leads to is a high exit multiple, okay? High exit multiplier, okay? And so if you're not familiar with this, I'm just going to briefly run through this. Basically what happens is when you sell your business, that business is usually going to sell for some multiple of the yearly revenue or yearly profit. It could be yearly or monthly or whatever. But some of the fastest growing new startups, they might sell for 20 to 50 times yearly revenue, which is just insane. So if you think about Stripe or something in the early days, if they were doing $1 million in revenue, they per year, they might have sold for 20 million or $50 million. And now they're worth much more than that, but as a company gets bigger and there's less growth potential for growth, then that multiple can come down. But this is one of the reasons that people like SaaS so much, is that you can build a real asset. If you think about building like a roofing company, you have a bunch of guys, they might quit, they might churn, you're gonna it's a much more operationally intensive business, and so you don't get as good as multiples. So that technical moat is one reason why you get high exit multiples. And then another reason is you also get recurring revenue, okay? So recurring revenue, because you can charge on a monthly basis. Same thing that HighLevel does, and this also contributes to a high exit multiple because you know how much money you're gonna make. Again, if you're a roofing company, you might do 5 roofs one month and make 100 grand, but you don't know if you're gonna be able to do 5 roofs next month, and so you don't actually know, how much money that business might do next year. And so that also hurts the exit multiplier. And this is kind of the main reason that people don't like SaaS with HighLevel, or why I guess the haters are against it. And that is that this doesn't exist, right? This high exit multiplier, because a lot of people will say it's not proprietary. It's white labeled, and so you don't actually have an advantage of basically being like having your own technology that you can sell. Because if someone can replicate your SaaS or your product in like a week, starting from nothing, then you don't have a moat there, right? And that is very true. But I'm going to explain to you why I think this is not really a good point. Oh, and then one other thing is that if we take a look at SMMA, this might be like, I don't know, some agencies, they might charge 2 to 3K upfront, and then that's going to be something like $1,500 per month after that on a recurring basis, okay? And so if you think, an average client stays with them for 3 months, then you take, let's say, 1,500 times 2 for the next 2 months, plus 3K, so that's going to be 6K total in LTV, right? 6K LTV. And so your LTV is 6K, and you're collecting $3,000 up front. And so if you're spending, $500, $1,000, $2,000 to acquire a client, you're still making like a 1.5x ROI on the first month. So you can just dump money into ads and know that you're going to go positive, and you'll make 3 times ROI on the back end, right? With a $1,000 or a $2,000 CAC, which is a really high CAC, by the way. You probably won't have a CAC of that high. And so this is one of the main reasons that people like SMMA is you can collect a lot of cash and you can dump a lot of cash into it. And what they argue against SaaS is that this might be $0 a month, first month. So $0 a month the first month, and then $99 a month after that. And so if you look at your LTV, I mean, let's say someone, it's cheaper and it might be more crucial to the business. So let's say they stay on for 12 months. Well, that means your LTV is only 1.2K, and so that's literally a fifth or 20% of what the SMMA LTV is. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret here. And this is that agencies are a giant pain in the ass, okay? I had an agency for a while, almost 2 years, and it sucked, dude. Like, you actually have to be interested in marketing and your clients and the kind of work that they do. I mean, same thing probably goes for SaaS as well, like just, being interested in your clients. But in terms of like running an agency, there's so much kind of upkeep that you have to do. You have to make sure that your clients are staying on top of their leads, that you're doing a good job in terms of advertising. And there's so much mental overhead, and not to even mention all the hiring that's required to like onboard people and maintain campaigns, build out new campaigns. It just gets insane, And so SMAs don't scale as well as softwares. And so if you're doing like a first month for free and then 99 after, you might be able to have sales happen on autopilot, whereas you're never going to see an SMMA that sells people on autopilot. This 2 to 3K is always going to be collected on a phone call. And so if you can sell, let's say your theoretical cap is 100 clients for an SMMA. So that's going to be 600, that's going to be 1,500 times 100. That's going to be 150K per month, okay? And this is right up there. I mean, there's some agencies that are like 200, 300, 500K a month, but they're very big businesses. If you think about it, every layer of your business, you have you at the top, and then if you add someone down here to manage this stuff, then you start taking on more clients. You have to add more at the bottom level, and so you end up with all these middle managers, which aren't actually providing a ton of value apart from managing the people down below, and so you just end up losing profit here, okay? This is where your money ends up going, and your profit margins become incredibly slim. Whereas with SaaS, in my kind of what I've seen, the biggest expense is support, and so you can have people sign up on autopilot, and I've talked to a guy that had 2,500 SaaS clients, okay? And so let's just say you get just a fraction of that. You just get 1,000 clients. Well, boom, you're already, let's see, that's not more, but it is 1,000 times 99. So 99, $100,000 a month equals 100K a month. And you're probably profiting like, I don't know, 80% of that rather than this, which is probably more like 30%, 50% on a good day. And so this might do $75,000 a month in profit, whereas this might do $80,000 a month in profit, and it's smaller. And the benefit is that you have kind of that recurring revenue, and you can take on a lot more clients. And it's also just a much more enjoyable business to have. I have a SaaS client, and I haven't talked to him in like 12 months, and he just pays me $200 a month. It's kind of awesome. But let's get on to some of the other points, okay? And so, okay, so I have here some of the most popular arguments against GoHighLevel SaaS. And in this case, we've already talked about the more revenue, okay? Because more revenue is not necessarily more money in your pocket, all right? As we've seen, an agency is not going to be as profitable at scale as a SaaS is. And I don't know about you. Oh God, this is a whole nother video, but basically you should have really big goals. And I think all of our goals should be to make 100 grand a month. And it's going to be much harder to get there with an agency once you start running into those scaling issues rather than a SaaS. Then we have the argument that there is no technical moat, okay? And, you know, a lot of people say this, and they're absolutely right. Like, if you go to sell a GoHighLevel SaaS, you're going to get a much lower multiple than this because you don't have some sort of, proprietary technology that keeps people from copying your product. But what I will say is two things, okay? The first of all is that moats are going away, okay? We've already seen this example. I mean, if we talk about AI, right? AI coding and building, it's going to be very rare to have an actual technical moat that people can't overcome to copy your product. And even in the most cutting edge kind of industries, like AI, we have open AI, we have Anthropic, we have Mistral, we have DeepSeek. I mean, I could keep going. There's so many AI companies, and they all have LLMs. And so even in the world of AI, where it's right on the cutting edge, you don't have a moat, right? No one has a moat, and in the future, this is just going to be expanded even more because of LLMs and their coding capabilities. And so moats are going to be a thing in the past, or at least technical moats. What is going to be the moat is marketing, branding. This is going to be the new moat, okay? If you look at basically any kind of product nowadays, the reason they're big, you know, especially these kind of Facebook, like e-com businesses, you know, Dollar Shave Club, True Classic Teas, like they're not, you know, SaaS Dr. Squatch soap or whatever. They're not reinventing anything. They're not making huge innovations. They're just doing a better job of marketing and branding. And this is what I've seen in the best SaaSes is they have perfect founder market fit. That's where the founder has spent 5, 10, 15 years in the same industry as the people that they're serving. And so they can do a really good job of marketing those people and building the right kind of product that's positioned for those people perfectly. And this is how you build a moat now. This is the actual key to building a moat. It's not about the tech that you have. And so this is that guy I was talking to earlier today. He was saying he sold his company and now he's doing a HighLevel SaaS. He told me the reason why he's not like building his own software is because he can iterate much faster just by selling HighLevel, and it's still, you know, the moat is not in the tech. The moat is in the distribution and just getting people to actually use it, right? And then that brings me on to the final point that people tend to argue against HighLevel SaaS, and that is the low multiple. And I have two things on this. Firstly, it's a I can't even talk. It's a statistic, all right? So let me just paste this here. So this was from an article. I was reading this here. Basically, they were saying that some article said that there were 9,919 sales out of 33 million US businesses. So the percentage of businesses that actually end up selling is basically zero, right? I mean, if you have a business right now, your chances of actually selling your business are roughly zero, all right, if we round down. And so that means who the fuck cares about the multiple of your business, right? Because you're probably not going to sell it anyways. If you are selling it, you're not watching this video, and you're probably not thinking about HighLevel SaaS. You're probably thinking about, you know, starting some fucking, I don't know, AI model or something, right? So anyways, that is not really a concern in my mind. And then the other thing is just kiss it, all right? Basically, most people just want 10K a month in recurring revenue and they'll be happy, right? And then they can go fuck off and play pickleball or tennis or whatever and hang out with their kids, whatever old people do. And that's literally all you need, right? And so it's not about selling your business, it's just about making yourself some revenue and basically having some money to fuck around with. And this is, I think, one of the strongest kind of arguments is that if you want something that's easy just to get it up to 10K a month and kind of maintain it, SaaS is going to be much easier to maintain than an agency, which need constant sales, constant marketing, constant client fulfillment. I mean, if you're doing 10 grand a month with an agency, unless you're charging 2,500 a month to each client and you only have 4 clients, like you're never going to hear the end of it. It's going to be constant kind of, working with your clients, which is just a pain in the ass. And so overall, this is why I'm going to go all in on SaaS in HighLevel, because I think it's actually a great opportunity. I mean, it was mostly this guy that I talked to today that really changed my mind and made me realize that, okay, SaaS is actually a real thing, and this is just going to keep going up. I mean, even talking to that guy the other day who said he had 2,500 SaaS clients, like, that's insane. I mean, he's doing 2,500 times, let's say he was charging $99 a month, $250,000 a month, right? Which is, I think, $3 million a year. 250 times 12. Yeah, $3 million a year on HighLevel SaaS, still just paying $500 a month for HighLevel. And so I think this is the play. And then we also have SWAS in the middle, Swamp Ass, or software with a service, depending on who you ask. And I think SWAS is kind of a good mix. You can sell the SaaS if you want, and then if you want to upsell people, you can sell the services. But all in all, I would kind of tend towards the SaaS. And just remember, it's kind of all about the distribution. And so SaaS works when you get a lot of people who've heard about HighLevel. That's one of their moats, is they've done a really good job of marketing, like with their affiliate program and stuff, to get a ton of people using their software. Now you just see a bunch of kids on YouTube who, like, they see a good way to make money online and they're hungry and they want to learn to sell and to sell people, and it's just a game of sales at that point. If they can brand and they can market and they can sell, then they can build a SaaS because you don't have to be technically savvy. I'm super excited about this. I think it's gonna be awesome. Dude, still so many businesses out there don't have a CRM, or they have a really shitty one, or they were sold in the early days of SaaS before things were really dialed in. And it's just going to get better. Like, it's funny because HighLevel SaaS might be one of the only things that's kind of resistant to AI, the changes of AI. Because for the next foreseeable future, there's always going to be, plumbers, roofers, different types of local businesses, and they're all going to need a CRM. Increasingly, as AI gets better, it's kind of a tailwind for HighLevel, is having this AI kind of improving the CRM so it makes it more valuable, and then you just end up with it's not like it's going to be replaced anytime soon. So that's my rant on SaaS. I really think it's going to be incredible. So thanks for watching, I guess. Subscribe and stuff like that, or whatever.